Imagine a time when the Great Wall was still under construction, when the Silk Road was just beginning to form. This is the era of the Han Dynasty, an epic etched into the annals of history, where a commoner would rise above his station, not only to become an emperor but also to establish a dynasty that would last over 4 centuries. This story begins in the year 202 before the Common Era, with a man named Liu Bang. Born into a peasant family, Liu Bang was far from royalty. Yet, destiny had a different plan for this commoner. Ambition, courage, and a dash of good fortune propelled him into the pages of history books. The land was ruled by the Qin Dynasty, a regime known for its legalist policies and harsh rule. Liu Bang, driven by a desire for a more humane governance, led a rebellion. This uprising, known as the Chu Han Contention, was a power struggle for the throne of China, a struggle that Liu Bang would ultimately win. With the overthrow of the Qin dynasty, Liu Bang ascended the throne, establishing the Han Dynasty. He did not only change the ruling dynasty, but he also unified China, bringing together the diverse territories under one rule. A rule that would be remembered for its Confucian principles of governance and its emphasis on the welfare of the people. Under the Han Dynasty, China experienced significant advancements in arts, literature, and technology. The Silk Road, an important trade route connecting China with the Western world, began to flourish. The construction of the Great Wall continued, a symbol of China's strength and unity. Thus began an era that would last over 4 centuries, shaping China into a great civilization. As the Han Dynasty took root, it ushered in a golden age, a period of peace, prosperity, and significant advancements. Under the reign of Emperor Wu, the Han Dynasty entered its zenith. Emperor Wu was a visionary who believed in the power of peace and prosperity. His rule was marked by a period of stability and growth. The empire expanded its territories, stretching from the edges of the Korean peninsula in the east to the rugged terrain of modern-day Afghanistan in the west. This expansion was not just about gaining more land, but also about establishing connections and fostering trade. During this time, the Silk Road, a network of trade routes connecting east and west, was established. This wasn't just a road for silk, but a pathway for ideas, culture, and technology to flow and intertwine. It was through this road that Chinese silk, spices, and porcelain made their way to the markets of Rome and beyond, while goods and knowledge from other parts of the world found their way back to China. But the golden age of the Han Dynasty was not just about trade and territorial expansion. It was also a time of great cultural and intellectual bloom. Arts and literature flourished, with poets like Sima Xiangru and Bangu penning verses that echoed through the ages. The invention of paper during this period revolutionized communication and education, making knowledge more accessible to the masses. Technological advancements were also significant. The seismoscope, an instrument to detect earthquakes, was invented during this period. Astronomers charted the stars and planets with greater accuracy, providing a solid foundation for the future study of the cosmos. The Han Dynasty was not just about conquest and expansion, but also about the enrichment of the Chinese civilization. It was a time when the empire grew not just in size, but in wisdom, culture, and understanding. It was an era that demonstrated the strength and potential of a civilization when it is nurtured by peace, prosperity, and a relentless pursuit of knowledge. Like all great empires, the Han Dynasty too had its share of challenges, leading to its eventual decline. The Han court was not immune to the typical malaise that often plagues long-standing regimes: corruption. The eunuchs, who were castrated men serving the emperor, wielded significant power within the court. They controlled access to the emperor and were notorious for their manipulation and deceit. However, their power did not go unchallenged. The Confucian scholars, who were the intellectual elite of the time, were deeply critical of the eunuchs and their hold over the emperor. This led to a power struggle within the court, which further destabilized the dynasty. While the court was embroiled in this internal power struggle, the common people of the Han Dynasty were suffering. High taxes, forced labor, and widespread corruption led to widespread discontent among the populace. This discontent culminated in the rebellion of the Yellow Turbans in the late 2nd century. The Yellow Turbans were a religious and political movement that sought to overthrow the Han Dynasty. Despite the Han court's efforts to suppress the rebellion, it further weakened the dynasty and laid bare the extent of the public's discontent. The final nail in the coffin of the Han Dynasty was the rise of the warlord Cao Cao in the early 3rd century. Cao Cao took advantage of the weakened state of the Han court and seized control of the emperor. In 220 AD, Cao Cao's son, Cao Pi, forced the last Han emperor to abdicate, marking the end of the Han Dynasty. The fall of the Han Dynasty marked the end of an era, but its legacy was far from over. The period following the fall of the Han Dynasty, known as the Three Kingdoms period, was one of the most tumultuous and romanticized eras in Chinese history. But that, dear listener, is a tale for another time. The Han Dynasty may have fallen, but its influence on China and the world can still be felt today. Let's start with culture. The Han Dynasty, with its emphasis on Confucianism, shaped the cultural fabric of China. Confucian principles such as respect for elders and the value of education remained central to Chinese society. Additionally, Han artisans made significant strides in pottery, sculpture, and silk weaving, setting the stage for China's renowned craft industry. Language, too, owes a great deal to the Han era. The dynasty saw the standardization of the Chinese script, which has remained relatively unchanged to this day. This unification of language played a crucial role in creating a collective identity among the Chinese people. Speaking of identity, the majority of Chinese people today still identify as Han Chinese. The Han Dynasty, in its 400-year reign, established a strong ethnic identity that persists. The term Han Chinese not only denotes a shared ancestry, but it also signifies a shared culture, language, and set of traditions. The Han Dynasty's influence extends to the realm of governance as well. The dynasty established a bureaucratic system that was based on merit rather than birthright. This system, known as the civil service examination, was a revolutionary concept at the time and served as a model for many subsequent dynasties. It laid the groundwork for the meritocratic system seen in many modern governments around the world. In the realm of technology, the Han Dynasty gifted the world with paper, the seismograph, and the wheelbarrow. These inventions have had far-reaching implications, revolutionizing communication, disaster management, and labor efficiency respectively. So as you see, the legacy of the Han Dynasty is not confined to the pages of history. It's in the culture, language, and identity of the Chinese people. It's in the governmental structures that uphold societies. It's in the technologies that make our lives easier. The Han Dynasty, a golden era that shaped China and left an indelible mark on the world. From its rise to its fall, the Han Dynasty was a period of great significance in China's history. It all started in the 3rd century BC, when the resilient Liu Bang emerged victorious from the Chu-Han contention and established the Han Dynasty. This remarkable event marked the beginning of 4 centuries of Han rule, an era that would shape China's identity and impact the world in ways still felt today. The Han Dynasty's golden age was nothing short of extraordinary. It was a time of prosperity, intellectual growth, and artistic expression. China saw advancements in literature, science, and technology that were miles ahead of their time. Paper was invented, creating a medium for written communication that revolutionized the world. The arts flourished, immortalizing the culture and spirit of the Han era in exquisite pottery and intricate carvings. This was also the period when Confucianism was adopted as the state's official ideology, shaping the societal norms and values that continue to influence China's culture to this day. Yet, no empire lasts forever. The Han Dynasty too faced its decline and eventual fall. Political instability, corruption, and natural disasters led to the demise of this once mighty dynasty. But even in its downfall, the Han Dynasty had a profound influence, setting the stage for future dynasties and shaping the political landscape of China. The legacy of the Han Dynasty is far-reaching. It left an indelible mark on the world through its cultural, technological, and intellectual contributions. The Han era is deeply ingrained in China's identity, so much so that the majority of Chinese people today identify as Han Chinese, a testament to the dynasty's lasting influence. So, the next time you think of China, remember the Han Dynasty, a dynasty that shaped a nation and left a lasting legacy on the world.